What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 9th of April, 2023. Can you believe another week has gone by? Does anybody else get the feeling that time is just passing at this super accelerated rate? That's why these reports are getting further and further in the morning, because I'm just finding not the time anymore. The time is just moving so fast. Anyway, the first link below will take you over to the Patreon post. Since I'm here, I want to give you some news. That will give you all the links to all the stuff. Let's just go over some of the stuff that happened this week. More madness. Biden won't veto GOP measure terminating the COVID national emergency. So he's just going to let the emergency expire. Oh, come on. There'll be another emergency right along here. Dr. Fauci himself this week. Here we go.
So if we really want to prevent the next pandemic, and there will be one, there will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic.
You would know. Pfizer certainly seems like so. Mayor Adams joins Pfizer CEO in grand opening of new NYC headquarters. Oh, look at this. Look at this. They're all standing there. We're so happy we're going to make all kinds of good medicines for the peoples. Put a link to that. What do we got here? We got Chinese load cow's milk with mRNA to immunize mice. Look what they're doing over in China. Nothing compared to what we're about to do in the United States. Look at this. Breaking news. The lobbyists for the Cattlemen and Pork Associations in several states have confirmed they will be using mRNA vaccines in pigs and cows this month. We must support Missouri HB 1169. Good luck with that. I mean, you're not going to stop this. Did we stop GMOs? I mean, we put up a hell of a fight. But they're going to do this. They're going to pump this stuff in everything you consume. You don't mind, do you? I'll put a link to this. We got COVID jabs will be given to the vulnerable babies for the first time over in the UK. Why is this? I don't know. World Health Organization reveals staggering infertility statistics. Check it out. An estimated 1 in 6 people worldwide unable to conceive. 1 in 6. What did it say at the top of the Georgia Guidestones? We're watching it happen, people. You think this is just a coincidence? Check this out. Fox News says this.
So it's possible, in fact, it's looking likely that the vaccine might suppress the immune system.
That has to be a conspiracy theory. Other news going on. Donald Trump arraignment, of course, happened this week as it happened. Ex-president arrested. Yada, yada, yada. Went back to Mar-a-Lago, made a big speech. You know, luckily there wasn't too much of a to-do in New York. I'll put a link to that. Read the indictment against Donald Trump. Details payments to porn star. All shit we already knew. He's a billionaire playboy. Of course he paid everybody. Come on. And it's nothing different than what every member of the Senate, every member of the Congress, like they all don't do the exact same thing. Give me a break. Charged with 34 counts of felonies. Whatever. President Biden, are you worried? Check this out, what the member of the press has to say.
Is he concerned at all that a local DA indicting a former president could, down the line, open up the possibility, set the precedent, that local DAs that don't like former President Biden could indict him?
I'm not going to comment from here.
No comment. You think that's ever going to happen? As Hillary Clinton would say, what difference does it make? Right, Hillary? And I got one in his Sun News. Hunter Biden debuts 3 pricey paintings to mixed reviews. High-priced and terrible. Over to the financial news. How major U.S. stock indexes fared on the Thursday, because I guess Friday was a holiday. A happy Easter, by the way, if you got your Easter baskets and whatever. How the stocks fared on Thursday, and let's see what happened. The Dow Jones rose 2 points. It rose 2 points on Thursday. Closed the week at 33,485. For the week, it was up 211. Pretty flat week in the markets. I'll put a link to this. This was big news this week. Did you notice gas prices this week? Oil surges in early trading. OPEC has surprised unipolar world-changing production cut. So they're cutting oil, which means prices are going up all over the place. Small businesses file bankruptcy for the record pace, surpassing the COVID crash. What's going on here? I don't know. Did I miss this, or did we report this? This was back on March 16th. Did you hear what Janet Yellen said when he asked her, are we going to raise the debt to $50 trillion?
You're going to drive the debt from somewhere around $32 trillion up to about $50 trillion, correct?
Yes, but
what
I believe is the single.
Remember in 2008, 2009, we were all panicked because it was just like crossing $7 trillion, and now she's like, of course we're going to raise it to $50 trillion. Put a link to that. Let's see. Texas bill would create a state-issued gold-backed digital currency. How do you have a gold-backed digital currency? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, I'll put a link to that. Speaking of that, Twitter's new dog icon. Did you see Twitter this past week? There was a dog. I think it's back to the Twitter thing now, but apparently had something to do with the doggy coin or something. I don't know what Elon's getting into there. Bud Light, the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Bud Light sparks backlash after partnering with controversial trans poster girl. Have you seen what Bud Light has done and gone? If you haven't seen this, I'm going to play it real quick. Look at this.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills,
look
right?
Look at this clown
I got some
show
Bud
here.
Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too.
Of course, people aren't liking this. Backlash. Country star Travis Tritt dumping Anheuser-Busch from his tour. I'll put a link to this. I love the way Kid Rock puts it. Let me just play Kid Rock's 35-second response. Love it. Shout out to Kid Rock. Big time.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Bud Light. Fuck Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
Awesome public service announcement. The Clydesdales apparently are being threatened.
Dales were supposed to make appearances across the Ozarks. Unfortunately, they have been canceled.
Out of safety
According
concerns
to a
or
statement
something?
from Anheuser-Busch, the local distributor, Will Fisher Distributing, decided to cancel all Clydesdale appearances in Springfield this week due to safety concerns for their...
These companies that want to just commit suicide like this. I mean, look at this. Nike angers feminist after choosing controversial trans influencer. Have you seen this is the new it for apparently Nike sports bra or something like that. This clown world we're living in. And apparently Jack Daniels has gone full woke. They're going to put on a drag queen summer camp. Did you get that? Over to New World Order and Police State News. Let's just start off with some gun control. David Hogg says he is effing angry and tired of this bullshit, yada yada. He's going to start a big rally.
This Tuesday.
Take down the NRA gun industry.
Around the country. We need especially...
I'll put a link to his thing. Chaos erupts at Tennessee Capitol mid-vote to expel Democratic lawmakers from office over. These are the guys with like after the last school shooting, they was on the floor with bullhorns talking about gun control. Now, to be clear, I don't agree with their gun control message at all, but I don't think that they should have been ousted either. I think this was a mistake. You can't have freedom of speech and silence someone who has an opposing view. I think it was a mistake to fire these guys. I do. Their gun control agenda is bullshit. So it's a double-edged sword for me. I feel myself defending them, even though I don't have to agree with their message to agree with their right to say it. Anyway, I'll put a link to this from Fox News. Big stuff going on. Did give the Vice President Harris something to do. She went and met down with the Tennessee. Goody, I have something to do. I'll put a link to that. Over across the pond, the former New Zealand PM, you remember her, right? Well, now she's going to take up anti-extremism role. She's going to go after the extremists. Of course, good role for her. Up in Canada, a new phenomenon. Canadians flocking to Justin Trudeau's YouTube channel, Sweeps Nation, where citizens block and report channel for misinformation in protest of his censorship legislation. Right on. Shout out to Canadians. Let's see. France to draft bill legalizing active assistance in dying. They're following that straight from Canada. Put a link to that. Of course, what the New World Order wants you to kill yourself? Here, let us help you. Fugitive former chief of staff, Maryland governor, dead after confrontation with FBI. I wonder if there's more to that story. Put a link to that. Speaking of that, FBI and Army members raided the wrong hotel room during a training exercise. So the FBI and the Army was training, raiding a hotel room, but they raided the wrong room and detained a guest inside who had nothing to do with anything. Put a link to that. Now, on the agenda front, KJP says the Biden administration does not believe in setting age limits for children having transgender surgeries. Why shouldn't a 2-year-old be able to do that? Straight male rockers performing in drag to protest Tennessee and Florida laws protecting the children. Put a link to that. And Barbie film to feature transgender, of course, and Ken will have a detachable penis, I'm sure. That from Breitbart. And we got Doctor Who apparently getting into the mix. Check this out. Drag Ray. I can't stand the last couple of videos. People are commenting, talking about way too much drag queen and transgender. Hey, I know. I don't like it either, but I'm not going to pretend it's not happening. Over to World War III news. The Biden administration announces additional security assistance for Ukraine. We got another $500 million, another $2.1 billion. I'll put a link here from defense.gov. This is April 4, 2023. Brand new monies to the Ukraine. Defiant Ukraine ambassador warns Putin will fight to the last of us or to the last of you. I'll put a link to that from Express. Russia says the new Cold War is over. We are now in a hot conflict with the United States. That from Breitbart. Big news, big talk going on in the World War III. Been terrifying video shows Ukrainian tank driving into Russian trenches, opening fire, point blank range, big tanks firing on people over there. Put a link to that. We got Italian tourists, 7 others dead, 7 others hurt in car ramming Tel Aviv. Apparently some sort of terrorist attack. This is after the barrage of missiles, I think, flew into Israel from Lebanon, and therefore there's big missile exchanges going back and forth. I'll put a link to that. Big stuff going on over there. Israel is apparently ready to attack Iran, can do so without the U.S. help, says IDF chief. I don't know this source, but when did this come out? This come out this week. I'll put a link to this from Arabian News. Erdogan tells U.S. ambassador to know his place, so all kinds of back and forth going on this week. Military holds patrols, exercises around Taiwan Island. This is from China Daily, so I guess that's the Chinese military. Put a link to that. Chinese spy balloon, we got an update on that. Gained intel on U.S. military sites transmitted to Beijing in real time. Put a link to that from Zero Hedge. Unprecedented Chinese genetic experiment may lead to army of radiation-resistant super soldiers out of China. Put a link to that. And the obesity in the U.S. military surging during pandemic. Nearly 10,000 Army soldiers are obese, says report. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. We got the earthquake set up for 6 points and above for the past week. Been some major quakes this week. On April 4, we had a 6.3 North Pacific Ocean. Philippine Sea, we had 6.2 on the 4th, 6.4 on the Indian Ocean on the 3rd, another 6.5 over in the Russia area on the 3rd, and on the 2nd we had the big 7.0. That was the Papua New Guinea area, so a lot of quakes going on. I haven't seen too much on tsunamis, haven't seen too much on volcanoes. Back here in the United States, another week for tornadoes. At least at the beginning of the week, we had tornadoes. We had a tornado in southern Missouri that killed 5 people.
Tornado strikes in the dark in a small community.
Just wiped
about
this,
2.5 hours
picked this
from
one
St.
trailer.
Louis. The Missouri Highway
people,
Patrol's drone picture shows a path of...
It's just terrible. I'll put a link to the video, man. More death and destruction. Blizzard up to blast North Dakota, I guess, this week. Bismarck could be set for seasonal record snowfall. Put a link to that. Up in Canada, you had ice storm. 1 million Quebec households without power. Over in Montreal, they're in the dark. The Truther Girls posted this video. I'll put a link to it of just devastating ice, taking down trees, taking down power lines.
Unbelievable.
Check this
Reminds
out.
me of a few years ago.
These are big trees,
Oh
too.
my God.
You know, these aren't some little tree. Look at this. Cars just smashed. Everything just, wow.
Oh no.
The power of ice. My heart goes out to the people of the north. And apparently this stuff's going to keep going on. Heated off the charts. World's oceans surface temperatures hits record high. Scientists warn more marine heat waves leading to increased risk of extreme weather. Put a link to that. The Biden administration apparently has an answer. They're moving forward with light bulb bans. I thought we already did this in the coming weeks. This came out April 1, 2023. Apparently they're going to go after your washers and dryers and all kinds of appliances and stuff too. You know, my gripe with LED light bulbs isn't so much the LEDs, although people argue that it's not good for your eyes, whatever. My gripe has been with the LED driver boards, the capacitors, the transformers, you know, the resistors, the shit that drives the LEDs is the stuff that always burns out, not the LEDs themselves. Anyway, I have customers that are that wanting to put up new light fixtures. They want these new LED light fixtures for their. I tell them, buy a light fixture that uses a standard bulb, and if you want to go with LED, put LED standard bulbs in there. That way, if the bulb goes, if the light goes out, you don't have to replace the whole fixture, because a lot of these fixtures is all one piece and the driver board's all one piece. You can't fix it easily. Buy them with individual, regular, and base light bulbs. That way, if the light goes out, you just replace the light bulbs. Anyway, just my little 2 cents on LEDs. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of power, we had One World Trade Center hit with massive lightning strike. Check this out. 1.21 gigawatts! I'll put a link to that. Let's see. We got ancient humans were getting high on cave hallucinogenic drugs during the rituals 3,000 years ago. I got cave news for you. Speaking of that, I don't know if this guy's high or what's going on here, but the man carries an entire bee colony on his arm by holding the queen in his fist. This guy's just walking down the street like this. Wow, balls, baby. This guy here got out just in the nick of time. What went wrong here? You notice his washer dryer over here, his clothes are tumbling. Watch what happens when he walks out the door. I don't know, did you have lithium batteries in your pockets or what? The whole place just blows up. The dryer door flies open. I don't know what's going on. And apparently we didn't get hit by a massive asteroid this week. 150-foot asteroid approaches Earth April 6th. Today is the 9th, so I guess we're all still alive. Over to strange and bizarre news. I got some strange news for you this week. Catch me outside. Wild moment. Bouncer body slams woman. Sends dollar bills flying. This happened down in San Antonio, I think, in this past week. Check this out. Apparently there's a fight going on in the parking lot, and but there's another lady coming up in the background here that the bouncer grabs. This lady right here, and he just like boom, body slams her, sends her money all over the place. Craziness going on in the parking lot in San Antonio. Put a link to that. Out in on the West Coast, video shows Cash App founder Bob Lee seen struggling, asking for help. Apparently he was stabbed and died. The founder of Cash App. I'll put a link to this. Woman charged with murder tried to stitch up fiance's stab wounds. I guess she stabbed him and then tried to sew him back up, try to save his life. Didn't work out. Now she's charged with murder. Crazy bitch. Let's see. 12-year-old. Look at this. 12-year-old video. Shirtless 12-year-old posted by Florida sheriff as he and his 17-year-old are. I mean, is this
12-year-old? Just arrested for
12 years old. Just 2 years ago, he was 10 years old.
And in cuffs to a waiting car.
The sheriff just marches out. Up in New York, apparently an animal was spotted at the Trump thing. Let's see what's going on here.
Why are you instigate violence right now?
Because I'm black and I like violence.
Yeah?
I'm an animal.
So
I'm an animal. I'm a black animal.
So,
I'm a black animal.
What's going on there? Minnesota man dies. Maybe it's got rabies. He had rabies. Dies of rabies after waking up in the middle of the night with a bat biting his hand. Be advised, keep bats out your house. This guy here got bitten by, was that alligator or crocodile? I always get him confused, but he wants to mess around. You know whose side I'm on, right? You know whose side I'm on. He wants to mess around with this crocodile alligator, and he closes on his foot. He does the death roll. You know, Paul Hogan and Crocodile Dundee told us about the death roll. You don't want to have that happen to you, so mess around, find out. Just like this guy here, check it out. He's going to kick this guy's truck. Guy turns around, pop, pop. Justifiable shooting? I don't think so myself. I'll put a link to that. What has Chicago done? Okay, Chicago's going to get a new mayor. They've ousted the black alien up there. You know, E.T. phone home. Maybe they can come pick her up. But now they got this guy, Brandon for Chicago. He doesn't like the police. He defended the looters. So if you're in Chicago, get out now. If you're still alive, I'll put a link to it. Down in St. Louis, we got this here, potentially disturbing. I don't find this disturbing at all. This guy hits a curb. He's in a pursuit. The wheel comes off. Maybe his wheel bearing broke. I don't know. See my backup channel if you need help with that. And he takes off running, but here's the thing. He's running, and he's firing at the cops. Check it out. This is our suspect here. Now, you tell me if this justified what the cops did here. He's running, and he's firing at the cops the whole time. Well, you fast forward a little bit. He gets run over there. Well, here we go. They didn't kill him. They just knocked him down. I mean, he's firing shots at you. What the hell are you supposed to do? I'd say shout out to the cops myself. Won't be firing any more shots at the cop. Wyoming Democrat Majority Whip posts meme of grandma shooting AK-47 to protect transgender people. What's going on there? You calling for violence? I don't know. But the police out in Colorado apparently stopped. Manifesto details former students' plans to carry out multiple Colorado Springs school shootings. Of course, this is a transgender person who was apparently they were going to go shoot up schools. So shout out to the cops for nailing that one. That's all I got. Check my favorites for more news. Let's see what happens when you say Jesus live on TV. Somebody put out a video there, and just nothing but the reality. Second Chicago firefighter dies in 2 days, 2 different fires. My heart goes out to the Chicago Fire Department. Please keep them in your thoughts. I got a report there. Something biblical happening worldwide. Jason A. put out a great one. We got the Little Rock, Arkansas tornado there. Walk Like a Joe Biden. I think that's from last week. I only favorited a few this week, but check them out. Good videos. Thank you, everybody. Still putting out content, keeping everyone informed. You guys are doing awesome work. And I know this video is getting a little long, but I got several shout outs. I'm going to play them. Here's a shout out to that sheriff down in Florida. I think this was the last, is that the 12-year-old that was killing people? The sheriff has a message for gun control people.
There are individuals out there viewing, and to include some of you media, that want to blame the one thing
how can I not play this?
That has no ability or the capacity to commit the crime itself. And that's the gun. These individuals committed the crime.
Sheriff, you mentioned the gun. Do we know how the suspect got a hold?
Yeah, how did they get a hold of these guns?
Car burglaries. Yeah. Ain't that right? All the gun laws we got in place didn't prevent it, did it? Neither will any new ones. Because here's the fact. The bad guy's going to get a gun no matter what law you have put in place.
Shout out to that, Sheriff. Shout out to the people over in Paris, France. They have overtaken the Black Rock headquarters. Check it out. That looks like some ancient, Babylonian. Shout out to them. I got to give a shout out to them all day long. Shout out to this guy here who's look at Mr. Smart Guy over here. Watch, he just gets completely shut down.
And I actually believe that we are seeing a rise in all-cause mortality around the world. That many studies are now showing the more vaccinated a country was, the higher their excess mortality.
That's how he shuts down Mr.
So
Smart
we
Guy
may retrospectively look back and find out that this vaccine is more deadly than the virus ever was. That still holds out for our reference to this.
Nothing to say, Mr. Smart Guy, huh?
Quarterback, we will decide who was glad they signed on, or
Monday quarterback.
Okay. We will decide who was glad they signed on to the Social
Such an arrogant prick.
I do not believe that things can be mandated on me, especially. Here's my problem. I cannot trust science, and my audience will not trust science.
This goes on for a while. I'll put a link. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to James O'Keefe, still at it. He went to the Trump thing. He got in the face of some of these guys. He's undercover. Check it out. He gets them to talk a little shit. You know how he does. Shout out to James O'Keefe. It's cool to still see him at it. Shout out to this woman here. Shout out to James Woods as well. It's good to see James posting it. He posts for a long time.
My name is Riley Gaines. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Kentucky, where I was on the women's swim team.
Speaking out against having a man in the locker room.
NCAA All-American, a 5-time.
Speed this up a little bit.
But my feelings didn't matter. What mattered to the NCAA were the feelings of a biological male. In 1972, Congress enacted Title IX to end unjust sex discrimination in all aspects of education, including college athletics. But by allowing Thomas to displace female athletes in the pool and on the podium, the NCAA intentionally and explicitly discriminated on the basis of sex. Although the NCAA claimed it acted in the name of inclusion, its policies in fact excluded female athletes.
And one more for sports. Shout out to this skier. I don't know if you saw this video. This skier was skiing and apparently come along a snowboarder that was buried. I don't know if this was in an avalanche or what was going on. You all right? But I mean, he was buried. He had to dig him out. Look at this. Let me fast forward just a little bit. It's so cool to see, one person doing something else for someone, just saving a life. He just got buried in the snow somehow, so shout out to him. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you like to report, please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I know this was a long one. If you think it sucked, it's the worst. I'm kind of all over the place. Sometimes I talk more, but sometimes people tend to like that. If you want to support me, you can do so on Patreon or directly with DonorBox. I put a lot into these reports. Also, follow me on all my links below, the Twitter, the Gab, the BitChute, the Rumble, all links at the bottom. Tell me your thoughts. We're still at kind of a lull when it comes to new COVID cases and all the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, and I'm telling you, don't let your guard down, because they got something else in the works that's right around the corner. What else? World War III. The gun control agenda. Coming fast and furious. I still don't think it's right what they did down in Tennessee with those two guys. Even though I call it complete bullshit on their gun control crap. I don't believe you should take away their right to speak, because that's not what. To me, we're just being. We can't silence those who we don't agree with. Otherwise, what are we fighting to defend here? Anyway, that's all I got. Please tell me your thoughts on the madness going on in the world. You guys take care, stay safe. Thanks for hanging out with me so much on a Sunday while I give you the news. Happy Easter if you do the Easter thing. If not, have a good rest of the weekend. Have a good week. I love you very much. Take care, stay safe. I will see you on the next one.